this is my review of Sonic X. Okay, so in the aftermath of Dr. Eggman's defeat, the president is facing re-election, and the president's aide feels like he has a very good chance of winning a re-election because he helped defeat Dr. Eggman. However, the problem is, the president isn't so sure if he's going to get re-elected because, as he points out, Sonic did quite a bit of the work. So Sonic, as a result, kind of got a lot of media attention, and the president was just kind of relegated to the sidelines. Like like how Sonic just kind of showed up at the last minute and stole all the president's glory. That's basically what happened. The president's aide, after finding this out, begins to freak out a little bit and becomes a little paranoid that Sonic will be elected as president. So he decides to hatch a bit of a plan. He decides to throw a victory party with Sonic as the guest of honor. And Sonic is allowed to invite any friends he wants to the party, and naturally everybody is excited to go, except for Sonic, because Sonic has a prior engagement. As he explains, he actually is friends with one of Chris's classmates, Helen, who is a major character that we're prominently introduced to here, and she's bound to a wheelchair. That's her defining characteristic. She's wheelchair bound and is a little... and because of that has a lot of difficulties associated with that. But that being said, Sonic and she wants to visit this island with her parents, but because her parents work so much, she's never actually able to go out and actually explore the island. And Sonic decided to help her out. He promised to take her, and says that that's the main reason why he's not going to the party. He volunteered to take Helen to this island that she's been excited to see with her parents. But because her parents work a lot, he decided to visit the island with her in their stead. So for that reason, he's not going to the party, and he even borrows some life jackets and a boat from Chuck, who just kind of has that lying around in his garage. So yeah, Sonic isn't able to come to the party. He basically blows off the president. That's basically what happens. He accidentally blows off the president by doing this, and when the president's aide finds out that Sonic isn't actually coming, he basically calls out an APB to get Sonic to come to the party by any means necessary. So for most of this, it's Sonic trying to help Helen get to the island while avoiding the military, and it's a very, very funny episode. So naturally, Sonic is able to outrun the military, who first stop off at the Thorndike residence to try and figure out if Sonic is being hidden there, but they're thrown out by Mr. Tanaka, who is shown to be very adept at Kung Fu. It's been hinted at a couple of times, but this time it's actually shown in full display. And we never actually see him doing any of it, but he does throw the Secret Service agents out on their ass. So evidently he's kind of a hard ass. But after realizing that he's not at the house, that he's not there, we know where he is. But everybody is trying to figure out where Sonic is. They do eventually catch up to him, but during this entire thing, Sonic is just helping Helen get ready to go on her trip to the island. And he's doing this all while avoiding the military. He grabs the life jackets and the boat, he escorts her there, he gets on the boat. It's only when they're actually on the boat that the military actually managed to catch up to him, quote unquote, and actually harpoon the bottom of the boat in an effort to pull it to shore in order to get Sonic to come to the party. Sonic, however, releases the cable and uses it to hoist Helen up by her wheelchair with Sonic in tow, and then they just fly over to the island using the grappling hook. At which point they finally get the opportunity to explore the island, despite Sonic and Helen being constantly badgered by the military. And eventually they find the flowers that Helen was so keen on coming to the island to see. So they eventually arrive at the Field of Flowers where Helen wanted to see the whole time, and she's very happy to have been there. But she also points out that Sonic shouldn't pick them because she wants them to stay as beautiful as the day she came with Sonic, so that she could relive that experience with her family. And sure enough, Sonic decides not to pick the flowers, even though he wants to. But in any case, after realizing that the military are going to trample the flowers in their very adamant pursuit of Sonic, they decide to lure them away from the flower field and eventually zipline use one of the grappling hooks to climb onto one of the planes, and they escape the island that way. So, but as it turns out, the main reason they got on the plane was so that they could actually go to the party, with Sonic deciding to use the plane to drop Helen off. But Helen points out that she wants to actually go to the party with Sonic. So Sonic and Helen go to the party together, and the President and Sonic finally meet first formally and shake hands. Although they never actually get the media coverage that the President's aide was after, because all the media guys have long since fallen asleep waiting for Sonic to show up. So it kind of just ends with Sonic and the President formally meeting, but it doesn't have any impact whatsoever because the guys that were supposed to be covering the event fell asleep. But in any case, it ends with Helen excitedly telling her parents about everything I just told you, and she explains the entire adventure from start to finish. So, and her parents, after hearing the story and knowing full well that they've been putting in way too many hours trying to actually help out Helen, decide, you know what, we're gonna set a day aside and actually go to the island with Helen, this time for real. So because as she points out at the beginning of the episode, they've been putting it off because of how hard they work to give her everything she needs. So naturally they finally decide, you know what, enough beating around the bush, we're going to actually go do this thing. So it is a very wholesome episode. Sonic finally helps Helen get to the island that she's been wanting to visit to see the flowers she's always wanted to see, and it's very touching, despite the backdrop of the military trying to call Sonic very forcefully to a party that he blew off specifically so he could help a little girl see an island for the first time that she's always wanted to see. So yeah, it's very wholesome despite all the cheesy antics of the military trying to chase after them. But it is a very good episode. It's a very wholesome episode despite that, and I did enjoy it. So if you guys have indeed enjoyed this review of Sonic X, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!